I believe the people that survived for this long, meaning several years doing rideshare, a part of them enjoys it. There's a small part of you that has to enjoy it. They say the average Uber driver doesn't make it past 6 months. So if you're like myself that's been out here 6-7 years, a part of you must enjoy it. And I can tell you from experience, over the years, I have enjoyed the interactions. And I'm an introvert, but I've enjoyed some of the interactions I've had with passengers over the years. Some, I'll say most. And it's gotten to the point where a lot of times I feel like a therapist. I feel like a life coach. I've helped people through their problems and tribulations. And I do like the time freedom. I think back to when I left my retail job and I started driving. I would say late 2017, early 2018. And there was a FedEx driver. I was working at Bed Bath & Beyond and receiving. And he told me, you should start doing Uber. And he was doing it part-time outside of FedEx, which was very hard, and it took up most of his day. So the fact that he even did Uber even a few hours on his free time was amazing to me. And I didn't take him up on his offer right then. It took me probably about 6 to 7 months after he told me for me to finally do it. And it was like I was under pressure. I needed to make more money fast. And 2018, it was paying better. We didn't have upfront fares, so we had no clue where we were going. No clue where we were going. So if you wanted to know if it was a New York trip or not, it was very challenging. You would think we would know that information. But a lot of times, you had to almost get to the person's house and start the ride as a way of seeing where they're going without talking to the customer, which was, as you can imagine, technically against their terms of service. But sending a driver out, not telling them how much you're going to get paid, not telling them where the job is. How do you send a painter out to go paint a house and be like, look, I'm going to send you to go out paint this house. I'm going to give you a estimate of what you're going to get paid, but I'm not going to tell you fully. I'm not going to tell you where it is. You have no clue where you're going, but you're going to do the job. It makes no sense. So drivers had to get creative. And a lot of times we didn't know where we were going until the person was in the car already. They tell me some parts of the country, they still have to do this because they don't have upfront fares. But they get paid more. So that should tell you upfront fares is a pay cut. Makes no sense. I'm going to tell you where you're going, but now you're going to not get paid on the rate card per mile per minute. So it's a pay cut. It's almost like you can't have everything when it comes to being a rideshare driver. But yet they want to call us independent contractors. How are you an independent contractor and you don't have all the tools you need to decide whether or not you want to do the job, you know where you're going, you know how much you're getting paid? So they introduced upfront fares. I think it was late. I think it was like right after, sometime after the pandemic. So I don't think we got upfront fares till 2021, maybe even 2022. I can't remember. It was somewhat recently, a few years back. I know it was after the pandemic. It might have been the same year. I can't even remember. It's funny that I'm so used to it now that I don't remember. All I know is up until about 2019, and we were getting scammed back then. Yes, they were taking too much back then, but I could confidently say that we were getting more than 50% back then per ride. We're getting definitely more than 50% of the total fare. So if it was $100, you could safely say you got like maybe $75. Yeah, I can safely say that. And slowly, year after year, it went down until now. If it's a long ride, you're only getting like 30% as a rideshare driver. For you new guys are just now learning, you're just now trying it out, you're getting 30% of the total fare. And Uber's biggest thing is they want to say it's insurance prices have gone up. No, they just wanted to take a bigger cut, because any smart business person, halfway smart, knows that a large company like Uber, they get discounts on insurance. So they're not going to pay what a small company pays on insurance. So how they capitalize that is they try to get a big chunk off each ride and blame most of it on insurance costs, which there is costs. Insurance has gone up, but if we're talking a $10 ride, you should not be taking $6 off a $10 ride. You know, that doesn't make any sense, and blaming it on insurance. Literally, they're taking more than 50%, even on short rides now. And don't get me started on insurance rides. Like, if somebody's like these medical rides where the insurance is paying for it, God knows how much they're getting paid for those rides, and the driver will never know how much. So we're getting crumbs of what that total fare is. God only knows how much they're taking. Best believe it's probably their most profitable rides. And mind you, we have no way of getting a tip. So if you're taking medical rides, which most of us do, even though we say we don't want to, even myself, I say I don't want to take them, but there's slow days where that's all they offer. That's all they have, you know, is students and medical rides available, you know. That's why I hate spring break, because when the college kids are on break, we lose probably, I would say, 50% of our income, because there's a lot of students that rely on Uber and Lyft. And single moms. When kids are out of school, a lot of time moms stay home. They don't take Uber and Lyft when they stay home. So we're losing there. Airport rides is a no-go now. They don't want to pay anything for airport rides. And I hear that's a problem anyway, with certain airports not allowing Uber and Lyfts in the airport for whatever reason. If you're a private driver, limousine, taxi, you have no issues. Rideshare, there seems to be an issue. So a part of us enjoys dealing with this mess to even continue on doing it. I've said probably for the last 2 years, this is my last year. I'm not going to lie to you. It's almost addictive. It's almost addictive because I think you get addicted to the daily pay more than anything. Because it's nice to know I could come out here for a few hours a day, make $100 and cash out right away. Now, if you have a habit, it's almost like you didn't make nothing because you have a bad habit. Whatever that is, you're spending that money on that habit. But if you don't have a habit and you're truly using that as extra cash, like you have a job, but you come out 3-4 hours in between that job, and it's actually money you could put away, it's very addictive. It's very useful. Very useful. Now, it's gotten to the point now where it wears out your car so bad, I would no longer could do this full time. And I still enjoy gig economy. I still enjoy it. I'll be honest with you guys, even if I got out of it, even if I do private rides, I'll still be doing a few trips because, number one, that's how you're going to get your customers. And number two, it is somewhat addictive to know you get that instant cash. But once you get a couple good paying private rides, you really don't need the apps. Even if you're doing it under the table, you really start to realize these apps are robbing me blind. So other than driver pay, I can't say rideshare has been a negative effect on my life. It's made me more outgoing as a person. I tend to talk more to strangers. Before I did rideshare, I wouldn't have had long conversations with strangers at all. Since becoming a rideshare driver, I find myself a little bit more outgoing, just a little bit. And because the person's behind me and I'm not looking in their face, I tend to be more open. I'm a good listener, so they like to share. So let's be real, a part of you gotta love rideshare if you're still doing it for 5, 6, 7 years. A part of you gotta love it. But I'm not trying to tell you to continue doing this without a plan. You gotta have a plan. I've got plan B and C. I would say plan B is private rides. Now, I would say plan A is starting my own business online, because I've already accomplished that. I've already done that, believe it or not. I've gotten sales online. I have an entity that I set up through Navy Federal. I have my own business, technically. Business account with Navy Federal. Money's going in it. It's not a lot of money, but it's money going in it. Plan C would be create a new entity for private rides. So I've come up with not one, but 2 ways to get out, because I don't believe we got much more time. And I had a conversation with a passenger, and he was like, because I told him, physical rideshare drivers are gone in 5 years. And he was like, yeah, I don't have faith in technology. I don't think it's going to be that soon. And I was like, okay. It may not just be 5, but what if it's 6? That's not that long. Look at the past 5 years. From 2020 to 2025 have blown by. Partly because of the pandemic, I would say. But the time has blown by, whether you're 20 or you're 50. The past 5 years have blown by. Another 5 is going to go by like that. So if you live long enough, we will not be able to do this. I'm talking to you full-time drivers. You will not be able to do this full-time unless you're doing like multiple apps and you're stressing yourself out. Because you're going to have to do a lot of hours, multiple apps. They're all scammers. I'm going to say that again. They're all scammers. Let's not even call them scammers. Let's just say shady. DoorDash, Lyft, Uber, they're all shady. They're all going to pay less and less and less as time goes on. We're not going to be able to do this, I would say, past 2030. But you can start a private courier business, doing private deliveries. I believe that's sustainable for beyond 5 years, doing deliveries, because that could turn into something bigger. You could have a fleet of drivers in 5 years doing deliveries. So it's not necessarily a bad thing if you like food delivery and you transition to doing deliveries. Say a lot of these medical deliveries are getting bigger. A lot of people are delivering car parts. That's getting bigger. I don't like food delivery, but I'm open-minded to transitioning to deliveries because I know doing my private business, the ride part of it is going to get slow. Even if you're doing private rides, it's going to get slow. There's a lot of competition out here. There's limousine services, there's taxis everywhere, you know. So even if you do private rides, I think you should have a combination of deliveries and private rides. I think that's sustainable beyond 5 years, in my opinion. I think we could probably get away with doing that probably the next 10, 15 years, and you could probably grow that into a fleet of drivers where you're just dispatching and you're no longer a driver. I believe that's doable for every one of us. Because let's be honest, out of everybody that's listening to this video, maybe 1, maybe 2 people will take action. So it's not like everybody that listens to this is going to actually get up and starts moving, starts doing this stuff. And it doesn't take a lot. I mean, you could put together an LLC. I got a lot of reasons why you should make it a C Corp, but that's for another video. And set it up so you could possibly sell it in the future. Something to think about. But even if you just set up an LLC and you have halfway decent credit, meaning 640, 680, you're gonna be all right if you at least transition to doing deliveries and at least start building a book of business of private rides. I don't even think you need a lot of private rides. I would focus more on deliveries. Me, myself, I have probably 5 people that once I get I'm licensed, I will probably be able to keep going with those 3 and then have some deliveries that will bring in. I could probably easily make $300 to $500 a day. That's a six-figure business. I don't have any young children. My daughter's grown. I don't even have any pets right now. I'm renting rooms. That's sustainable. It's doable. You know, the goal is to purchase a small single family or possibly two-family home and start planning my retirement, because with this new administration, I don't know if Social Security is going to be an option for me. I'm already in my 50s. So Social Security might not be there. We're not going to rely on it. We got to start planning for the future. If you love this, I'm not telling you to stop doing it. I'm just telling you to start planning for what's going to come. The end is going to come. And I started thinking about this one, maybe because I'm getting older. You got to start thinking about your health. I'm not going to lie, I'm guilty of not worrying about it in the past. But you got to start thinking about your health if you plan on being around for the next 5 to 15. You know, hopefully all of us want to be around for at least the next 30 years. That's what I plan on. If possible, God willing, I want to be around for the next 40 years. So I got to start thinking about my health. I said in another video, I quit smoking marijuana. Trying to eat better. I don't eat as much fast food. I'm still eating some processed foods, but not as much fast food. So I'm trying. I'm working on that end. I'm still only part-time on the driving side. Like I said, I'm doing some stuff online. I'm renting some rooms. So I'm kind of diversifying, you know. I don't recommend everybody focus on too much like me. That's just me. That's just how I'm built. Focus on one thing. But that one thing could be multiple apps. I'm not telling you just focus on one app. I'm going to try some delivery apps before this year is up. I know I've been talking about it. It'll give me something to talk about on the channel. But I'm not a fan of food delivery. I'm not a fan of DoorDash. But I need to diversify. I know Uber and Lyft ain't the end-all be-all. But I like Rideshare. I just don't like to pay anymore. And next year, it's going to go down again for your new drivers. I don't even do referrals anymore. If somebody says, oh, can I get you to refer me? Then no, I don't even do referrals anymore. Because I don't even want to bring somebody new into this unless they're working for me directly. Like if I set up a delivery business, yes, I'll bring them in the fold. But bringing them into Uber and Lyft, number one, that's more competition for us. Because they're going to be pigeons, because they're going to take whatever, because they don't know no better. You know? It's bad enough you got undocumented people driving around as competition. Now when I recruit another person, even if they're in another state, I'm not recruiting anybody to do Uber and Lyft. Not anymore. I have in the past, not anymore. Another reason they might end the program. The rideshare professor talks about it all the time, how they owe money for affiliates. But I'm not telling you to discourage you from, if you're already driving, to stop. All I'm saying is start planning for the future. because ride sharing forever. If you want to see more videos about my journey, how I'm diversifying, what else I'm doing in the future, very simple. It ain't gonna cost you anything. Subscribe, like, comment, and I'll see you in the future. Thank you.